Okay, this is take two, folks. I am going to talk to you today about how to choose a weight loss program that's going to have your best chance of success. And that really depends on certain what condition your body is in. And so I want to help you to understand how to test yourself, see what's going on, and then choose a good weight loss program. Alrighty, so my name is Debra MacIntyre. I'm going to change rooms here because this lighting is awful. I am a naturopath in Roswell, Georgia, and as such, I'm not a medical doctor, but so you can't take this as medical advice, but definitely it is good advice. So Lisa, glad you could be here, and here we go. So I want to teach you how to do two tests that will help you to determine what kind of condition your body is in a couple of ways that can sabotage your results if you're having trouble losing weight. So the first is testing your thyroid gland. And you can have medical tests done, but oftentimes they just don't show what's going on. You can be in a normal range, but you really have the symptoms of a low thyroid. Tired in the afternoon, trouble losing weight, dry skin, maybe hair falling out a little more than it should, slow bowels, the list goes on, right? It's just your body is sluggish if your thyroid is not tuned quite right, because it is the thermostat for your metabolism. And so because it's the thermostat, your body temperature is a reflection of how efficiently your thyroid is working. So even if your blood tests are normal, do these temperature tests and see if you have something that may be, standing in your way to get your best results. So here's how to do it. You may have heard of taking your test, your temperature first thing in the morning when you just wake up. I like to do it a little differently than that. I want a functional test where you're active and going through your day. So I like to have you take your temperature 3 hours after you wake up. That's the earliest because the temp's going to be a little bit low after you've been sleeping. So wait 3 hours, take your first one, and then approximately 6 hours after you wake up and approximately 9 hours after you wake up, take your temperatures again. And do this for 4 or 5 days. You want to get a trend of what's going on. Now, when you look at those temperatures, they really shouldn't drop below 98.3. It's normal, like 98.6 is what you should be, but you can have a slight variation in that, and that's not really a big deal. But if you start, sorry guys, got to adjust my arm here, and I will try to keep my finger out of the picture. But if you find that you're dropping below 98.3, now you've got some problems, right? So jot all those numbers down, and if you're consistently below 98.3, then you need a little help with your thyroid. Now, definitely private message me if that's going on, because I'd like to give you a bit of more detail about the thyroid, but that's not the subject of this stream, so just private message me if you find you have low temps, and I'll help you know what to do. Okay, so let's say your temperatures, in addition to being low, or maybe they're even not that low, but they're not steady. They're bouncing around, more than a few tenths of a percent. In the morning, maybe you're 98.2. 3 hours after that, you're maybe 97 point something, and then you're back to 98 point something again, and you just think, golly, what's going on? When your temps are all over the map, then that is an indicator that your adrenal glands are not strong. Now, I'm going to relate this to different dietary plans in just a moment, but it's important for you to know if your thyroid's not right, if your adrenals are too tired, some of the popular weight loss diets actually are going to give you more trouble than help. So that's why this information is important. In addition, for the adrenals, you can do a little test with a flashlight. So go into the bathroom, stand close to the mirror. If my pen is a flashlight, you're going to shine it to the side of your eye. But it's enough to bring enough light that your pupil will contract. So if your pupil contracts and holds for several seconds, your adrenals are great. But let's say your pupil contracts, and then after a few seconds, it lets up. And it keeps trying to contract, but it can't really hold that contraction. Everybody's going to do that after 15, 20 seconds. But if towards the beginning of that time you start doing that, that's another sign that your adrenal glands are not stably holding you in balance. So now that you know, we check the thyroid, we check the adrenals. Now I'm going to go over my 4 favorite weight loss plans, and I base this on 29 now years of experience of working with people on losing weight, and help you to know which one is best for which situation. So let's say your adrenals are really tired, your pupils are just flashing back and forth, and your temperatures are all over the map. Then really the best plan to get you more stable is one called the Zone. You guys, if you've been around for a while, you might remember the Zone diet. It was a huge fad, a couple of decades ago. But what it's good at is stabilizing blood sugar, which helps your adrenal glands. So the Zone diet is basically 40% healthy carbohydrates, 30% healthy fat, and 30% healthy low fat protein at every meal. So you're trying to get that balance of macronutrients, the protein, carbohydrate, and fat at every meal. You eat 3 meals a day, and you may need to eat 2 snacks if you find your blood sugar dropping through the day. So this Zone plan is corrective for a blood sugar problem. Even pre-diabetes will respond really well to Zone. If you're diabetic, again, private message me. You'll want to check with your doctor. There's some additional things you want to look at. But the Zone is great if your adrenals are really wiped out. Now let's talk about exercise if your adrenals are really wiped out. Because a lot of people, I'll test them in my office. I have ways of testing the nervous system and the adrenal glands. And oh my gosh, they're in the toilet, right? If that happens and you're out there trying to do Orange Theory, you're just wiping your adrenals out more. So just like the Zone diet is appropriate for you if your adrenals are bad, because it keeps balance, the super highs and lows with exercise are not going to be your best. So you want to walk every day. You want to, maybe take up a beginner yoga class or something like that. You want to move, ride a bicycle, whatever. You want to move, but you don't want to overexert yourself, because then that puts more stress on your adrenal glands. So that's the thing to do there for exercise and diet. Now, my second favorite diet is newer on the map, sort of, as far as popularity goes, and that is a ketogenic diet. Lots of people have heard of keto. Keto is super, super popular. And what the ketogenic diet involves is getting the majority of your calories from fat. But we're not talking bacon, right? It's got to be healthy fat. So we're looking at butter from grass-fed cows. Kerrygold is a great brand. We're looking at coconut oil. We're looking at avocado. We're looking at olive oil. And hey, those in the Atlanta area, shout out to my new friends at Ole Oliva. It's an olive oil, balsamic vinegar, and spice store in the avenues at East Cobb. Holy cow, they have the most amazing products there. Their olive oil is to die for. So anyway, let me not get on that track. But 80% healthy fat and then moderate amounts of protein. See, one of the mistakes that people make on the ketogenic diet is eating a lot of protein. If you eat a lot of protein, your body will actually break some of that down into carbohydrates. So it kind of skews your calculation on your carbohydrate off a little bit. And then your carbohydrate intake should be no more than 50 grams over the course of a day. And you have to remember that veggies have carbohydrates. So you're counting every carb if you want to truly stay ketogenic. Now, keto diet is what's called a health hack. It's not like the healthy way for everybody to eat. People will disagree with me on that, but the reason so many people do well on keto is because we're so messed up. Our bodies have been deteriorating because of the bad food that we've had and the environmental toxins and so forth. So it kind of takes something like keto for a lot of people to really even regain a baseline of health. So keto is right for you if you have a lot of belly fat. It's right for you if you have a high amount of fat to lose. But again, if you have diabetes, I've used it with people with diabetes. It's effective, but you got to be under somebody's supervision when you have a health condition like that. So keto is great, but you have to do it in a healthy way. You can't do it in a bacon and cheeseburger kind of way. All right, now the third favorite diet would be intermittent fasting. And that one is appropriate. Well, thank you. Thanks for the love. I appreciate that. So intermittent fasting is appropriate if you don't have super bad adrenal stress. Again, that blood sugar dropping is going to put stress on your adrenals, so you have to, watch that a little bit. And what that involves is reducing the time window of your eating to a shorter time period. So most people, they'll wake up, they'll have breakfast 7 or so, and they eat through the day, and then they may have their last snack at 7 o'clock at night. That's a pretty big time window, and some eat even earlier and later than that. So with intermittent fasting, you can take it to a 10-hour window, and you can take it to an 8-hour window. I think some extreme people even do less than that, but that's what I feel comfortable, recommending to a general audience. And it's not that you gorge yourself in those 8 to 10 hours. You eat normally, but it's just you're doing all your eating in that time. So what happens is your body goes into a fasting mode, and you will detoxify. There's a process called autophagy, which is basically you're breaking down your old dead cells and letting your body eliminate and all of that. It's got a lot of health benefits. Back in the day, I was trained, everybody needs a good breakfast, right? And if people would come in, well, I'm not hungry, I don't really eat anything until lunch, I'd be like, you have to have a good breakfast. Well, that was misinformation. We learn as time goes on, and now studies show that this intermittent fasting is really a good thing. So you can combine intermittent fasting with the other eating plans that I'm going to talk about, except for Zone. Zone is the only one that won't combine with intermittent fasting. But if you want to do ketogenic plus intermittent, you can do that. My last dietary plan that I love for weight loss is just a simple Mediterranean diet. And that one also can combine very well with intermittent fasting. And these ketogenic, Zone, Mediterranean, these are so easy to find online. I'm not taking a ton of time to go over them, but the last thing I want to say about the food is your ingredients, right? So quality of what you eat is also super important. You want to get organic as much as possible. You want to get food free of chemicals. So even though you might be able to go through a fast food place and get, a burger without the bun or whatever, it's really not going to be your best way to help your body, because weight loss is shedding, right? You're getting rid of stuff. And to detox anything, including fat, you want to get as clean a food as you possibly can. Okay, one final word. So we've got the basics. If your thyroid is down, you want to look at that. If your adrenals are low, it helps you pick which plan is going to be appropriate for you. You've got the major plans that I've seen give good results over the years. Finally, the motivation piece. Oh, thank you, Lisa. I'm glad you're finding this interesting. And okay, good. So glad you like it, Angelique. Thanks for being here. And you guys, if you want to share this out, it definitely helps me get the word to more people. I'm on a mission to help people be healthy without drugs. Now I'm going to get on a soapbox. We've got into a culture where the drug industry is really controlling the health industry, and we're getting advertisements on TV to ask your doctor about drugs and all these kinds of things. And if you look at the statistics, it means that we have escalated our use of drugs over the years. Now, they can be life-saving when you need them, but they're not a way of life. You know, they're not a way to, like, people will tell me, oh, I don't have a blood pressure problem because I'm on this medication and now my blood pressure is good. Well, you do have a blood pressure problem, because if you come off the medication, then it's going to be going right back up. So yeah, sorry, I'm preachy a little bit, but I'm at the right crowd to do that. But that is my mission. I want to help people understand. We have all this misinformation out there. Oh, thank you, Brandy. I appreciate that. Tons of misinformation out there that we accept as truth. And if you aren't exposed to the other kinds of data, then you may not really know. You know, I always use the example of the frog. You put him in cold water and you gradually turn up the heat. He doesn't realize he's cooking. And that's kind of what's happened to us too. So the last thing I want to say, geez, I should get on here and preach more often. The last thing I want to say is that to have success when you're trying to reach a goal like weight loss takes not just setting a goal, but you also have to look at what your purpose is for wanting to reach that goal. So for example, let's say I want to lose 20 pounds. And you know, okay, well, I'm going to be healthier, I'm going to feel better, I'm going to look better in my clothes. Like, there's different reasons that you may set that goal. But if you don't reinforce those reasons, and if it's not really a big purpose for you, it's going to be so easy to fall off track and not get good results. So if you say, I need to lose 20 pounds, because I need to get healthier, you know, I need to look better, all of that. That's not what I'm talking about. I'm talking about, I want to lose 20 pounds. I'm deciding to lose 20 pounds, and I want to do it because I want to ride my bicycle. I want to play with my kids. I want to play with my grandkids. I want to have energy to go through my day. Like, those are your purposes. So those are the things that help you more. I mean, your goals are great, but keep reviewing your purposes. And one last preachy I'm going to tell you guys, and you know this if you've ever been through trying to lose weight, there's gonna be people that come against you. Oh, just have a little bite. Oh, we're out to dinner. You know, I can't eat this cheesecake all by myself. These are the saboteurs, and they're not like mean-spirited people. And Brandy's right. You do have to make the switch. You have to switch the way you think about these things to be successful. A lot of people who watch my streams are into Grant Cardone, which I am as well. He's like a sales guy, motivation guy, business guy. And he always says that the people that criticize you do it because they've given up on these things themselves. You can take that or leave it, but it is food for thought that the person maybe trying to push half that cheesecake on you knows they really shouldn't be eating that cheesecake either. But if you do it too, it makes a nice little group agreement, you know, and it's just easier to do that. So yeah, Lisa says behavior modification is so helped by digging into why you're making this change. Absolutely. And so just know people are going to argue with you. They're going to push things on you you're not ready to eat. They're going to maybe even criticize you. Oh, you look fine. You don't need to lose weight. Whatever it is, just when you're firm, like Lisa says, you're firm in your convictions of why, your big why, then it's so much easier to just let those comments go away and say no thank you to the cheesecake. So guys, thank you so much for joining. I really appreciate you sharing. Let me know if there's a subject you want to hear about, and I would look forward to seeing you next Thursday. Have a wonderful week. Thank you.